Alright guys, so in today's we've got a very interesting, I guess, theory or conspiracy video here. Talking about these new details here, right? So as you can see, well obviously we've got part 2 coming up in a few days now. And there's something very interesting they put in the news here, which is, yeah, well we've seen this before, right? But as you can see, it's got play the main story and prepare for an upcoming event. As you can see, we're currently preparing a raid event where a boss for you to take down alongside other players to participate. So that seems a bit weird. I'm not too sure what they could mean by that, unless they mean it could be like a four players versus one boss sort of thing. But because obviously we've obviously had raids before, right? So the way they're sort of describing it seems like it could be a bit more stuff, unless there's a certain boss we're gonna fight, right? So as you can see here, Scott, you'll need to progress through the main story to certain points. Make sure you completed the requirements beforehand so you can join in. So it's got completion of main story part 2, part 4, and part 6. I was going to say, the start of the event requires completion of main story part 2. Clearing high difficulty is not required. So that's still a bit weird how you have to do part 2 first to even start the raid. So I would assume this could be a hint towards the part 2 I left, right? Mainly because, I'm thinking it could be a game's original character. Well, maybe not game's original, but I guess it would be game's original. So if I remember correctly, I think part 2, part 4, and part 6, I think they all had transformations for Charlotte. So I think it was like 1, 2, and 3, I think. I could be mistaken. But I've seen a few people on Twitter saying it's something to do with Charlotte. So my theory is, if obviously we've seen the latest part of the new story, we obviously have Charlotte and Giblet taking on, I think it was Zaha. And yeah, there's a certain part where they sort of tag up and try and defeat him, right? So my theory is we could get like I mean, it would be pretty high. Whether it's going to happen or not, I just don't know. Like, maybe like a Charlotte and Giblet, like, with a synchro gauge. That over time confused into, I think it's Charlotte, I think they call it, the fusion. So, I think that could be a possibility here. And then, like, the raid boss is going to be, Zaha. Just because it seems weird that you have to complete a certain amount of, like, stories here. But we've also had this before with Goku and Bardock, right? LF Goku and Bardock. It was the same sort of situation. You had to clear past a certain chapter or something like that. I can't remember exactly what one it was a long time ago. But to me, it seems something similar to that. You know, it's very weird that they're trying to brag, well not brag, but hype up this raid event. Where, like I said, we've had raids before, nothing special sort of thing. They're really good, but there's nothing like, nothing we haven't seen before. But we've never had requirements like this, where it's like you have to do part 2, 4, and 6, right? So I think there's a few possibilities we could see. So like I said, I think it could either be an LF game original character, Charlotte and Giblet fighting and then sending Gage to Charlotte, which I think is a high possibility. Or this new raid event is talking about the upcoming big update, right? Because they specified in the reveals and stuff, I keep saying reveals and stuff, it was Legends information video, that there's another big update dropping this anniversary, which I think they did say is going to do with like the battle motion in game, like how battles work and stuff like that. That's why there's also that leak with the ground battle sort of thing, as well. They got revealed a few weeks ago now. So that could be a big possibility, because if we go in the news as well, they do talk about the reveals and stuff. I'm gonna keep calling it reveals and stuff. It's just locked in my head now. Where'd they put the announcement? Was it not up yet? Maybe it's not up yet. If not, I might have to go on Twitter real quick just to quickly find it. Yeah, maybe I haven't put it up yet. Maybe it's just like a delayed post. So let's get Legends information video, so we'll move on. I'm gonna have to go on Twitter for this, hold on. Alright, so I found it here. So as you can see here, they're heavily hinting to get big news right at the beginning, right? Now, I mean, it has got special edition as well, but I guess because it's anniversary, it's always going to be special edition. But in my eyes, there's still two possibilities to what this could mean. So obviously big news, when they've said this before in the past, it usually does mean it's just they're going to show the unit straight off the bat sort of thing, and then they'll talk about other things in the video. So I think that could be the case. They could just straight up show us the LF, or whoever it's going to be, straight off the bat. And then later on they might start hinting towards the update, what it could be. Like they might show new battle moves, new animations, maybe something like that. Maybe new mechanics as well, we could see. You know, I think the problem with this anniversary, and I've said it before, But I think what they're trying to do is they're focusing too much of their time and efforts on these updates. So like the UI update, that's why we had nothing basically all year. And then now, now for anniversary, we've got a little bit of content, but it's very dry. They try to hype it up with the Super 7 anniversary, but we haven't really seen anything super except units from Dragon Ball Super. So the only thing I can think of as to why they're struggling with content-wise is they're focusing too much of their scheduled time with like developers and that on these new game modes or whatever updates they got planned. So if that's the case, I think that's a huge L on their take because they should have just scheduled it better, right? So how I would have done it, which I think would have made the anniversary a lot better, is put the UI update at the start of the year, so maybe like January, February, then prepare all your time for this new battle update system, whatever it's going to be, to drop when the UI update dropped, right? And then the whole anniversary can just still be planned to have a really good time sort of thing, right? Because now, like I said, if they're focusing all the time on that, we're probably going to get, even part 2 and 3, I'm not really expecting too much in terms of content-wise. Units, they could be really good, like with part 1. It's just content-wise, I think we could struggle just because they're focusing that much time and effort on the updates, right? Which I guess is good in a way. If the update is a huge banger, huge win, right? But then you go look at it, it's like, well, what about in terms of content, right? But I'm sure whatever Legends does have planned for part 2 or the rest of the anniversary, I'm pretty sure they will do a good job at. They usually do pretty good with anniversaries and that, well, typically any Dragon Ball game does. So I'm not really too worried about it, but I'm hoping to get something hyped soon because the community definitely needs it. But yeah, that's going to be today's video, guys. If you guys, have any other suggestions what you think we could see for part 2, leave a comment down below. And yeah, if you guys like this video and you want to see more, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next one.